Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 5 of the anime series Myriad Colors Phantom World. And I really enjoyed this episode. In spite of some of its, a little more predictable qualities, I really liked looking into the character background of Minaze in this episode and getting to know her a little bit more, getting to see some of those tsundere qualities in her character, even though there isn't like a romantic, sort of vibe coming off of her. But just the fact that she is a loner, like a lot of these other characters have been, that's been sort of the penchant for each of the characters, their motivations, their backdrops. Each one of them is kind of, an outcast. They're on their own and everything like that, and they would prefer to be able to be with friends or have friends and that kind of thing. And Minaze is the one who's the most begrudging of wanting any sort of, people finding her acceptable or accepting of her and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't want to really, deal with people anymore because she's just been so downtrodden after so many people have sort of strayed away from her because of her abilities and because she had to really deal with on her own. Her family sort of, casting her out, her friends becoming afraid of her and everything like that. It's very much the X-Men mutant vibe that I was describing going back episodes now. And I really feel like the show, even with its semi-predictable qualities, it's really aligned itself better in my mind, where I'm really just thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not really reading into it too much. The characters are likable enough to guide me through it. They're intriguing enough, and seeing, sort of them trying to bring Minaze into the group as kind of sort of orchestrated by the sensei and everything. I just like it. I like the charm of all of the circumstances going on, and I like the misdirection in a sense, in that, she's basically told about this phantom that is attacking like bunnies and chickens and going after animals to eat them, I guess. And it's, something that's personally affecting Minaze because it calls back to her past. It calls back to the phantom that erupted those powers within her for the very first time. She was very much in the place of being sort of the pen keeper for all these animals. And this is what burgeoned her power. And I guess she thought she sealed the phantom at the time, which apparently it turned out to be true. It turned out to be the case because this was not, in fact, the same phantom. We were led to believe maybe this was the same one she encountered 4 years previously when her powers first erupted or whatever. But that's not the case. It's just sort of a similar species of phantom, I guess. Still ultimately unclear on the whole phantom thing, how that all works. I mean, we have creature phantoms, we have human phantoms and everything like that. We have inanimate objects that become possessed and come alive. It's just really weird. But it's the character sort of story that keeps me drawn to the series. I really like the characters. Even Haruhiko, who I could not stand from the first couple of episodes, like, he is now an integral part of this show to me. They made him much more human and compassionate, and how he's trying so much to reach out to Minaze. It's in a similar vein that he has tried to reach out to like Reina and everything like that, where he really does have this loneliness of his own to deal with. And it's really a character-driven thing where you're seeing all these characters coming together, finding themselves, finding the courage within themselves to be who they want to be and who they need to be and who they are, but then also be accepting of others that are in similar plights and everything like that. I mean, not without, the humor and everything like that. And this was an episode I felt the humor was spot on. You have Haruhiko sitting at the lunch table and his buddies talking about Minaze and how odd she is and how off-putting she is and why that might be, even though she is hot. And of course, there she is standing by him. So they both react like insanely. I like the sort of playful rivalry between Mai and Minaze. Mai is very much taking her to task for being so off-putting, for being so sort of angry and not wanting to deal with people. And it takes all of the events of this episode because Minaze really suffers a blow when this phantom releases this gas or toxin or whatever it is. And it affects her voice. It like shuts up that vocal power she has. And I like that the precursor of the episode talked a little more about song and melody and singing, music is very much the fire within my own soul, where it's a comfort. It's something that gets you through. It's something that, as they, discuss at the start of the episode, it gets those sort of pleasure centers of your brain working, especially if you're recounting a favorite song or whatever like that, or hearing, your favorite music and that kind of thing. And so I like that it's a stemming off of the whole focus of what Minase's power is. She listens to music all the time with the headphones. I mean, she's always got the headphones on. And so it's something that boosts her own self-confidence and keeps her going while being truly alone, while feeling, truly outcast and downtrodden for it. And so the idea that, this is something so personally affecting to her, that when she sees people like Haruhiko and even in her own begrudging way, Mai, Reina, Ruru, all that kind of stuff. And the little girl with the bear, we finally have her introduced officially. She's kind of the pen keeper of the day, Karumi. And her bear is Albrecht, which it's interesting, the historical reference that, of course, Haruhiko would know off the top of his head. But the fact that this bear can grow giant and throw down. Like, I want to see this as a live action movie. I want to see, Pacific Rim with giant teddy bears throwing down phantoms instead of, in lieu of kaiju. But I digress. It was just interesting to me that, and it makes me wonder. I still have a sneaking suspicion, like, is Karumi really a phantom, or maybe her bear is, because they linger on the bear's eyes in the last shot of the episode, and she's saying, like, oh, they might be counting on me again to help out, and I don't know if I can, and well, why not? Is it because you're uncertain of your powers? Is it because maybe they don't know the full story with you? I don't know yet. But it's exciting to speculate that aspect of it. But of course, again, getting back to the crux of the episode, Minase's power, over time, it does start to come back, and I like that we find the insight that she can actually sense. I don't know if it's all phantoms or phantoms she's focused on, but at least with this one, because it's so personally affecting to her, she knows how to find it again, and they all end up in the zoo for this final showdown. And of course, Haruhiko steps up to the plate when Minase is again attacked and gassed, and very much, stricken health-wise. I mean, she's down for the count. And it takes Reina using her health healing ability, sort of prompted by the sensei, because for some reason she forgot she had it for a split second there, to bring Minase back. But Haruhiko uses his drawing and capturing ability, snuffs this thing out, and that's where we find out subsequently, oh wait, this isn't the same one from 4 years ago. I guess I led you all astray and everything, but I think it was a masterwork by, the sensei to try to pit them all together, try to get them together. And it was really awesome. I felt very much elated because you had the earlier scene in the episode where Haruhiko had gotten back to Minase's apartment the next day, and she comes out and she's like, have you been here all night? And he's like, no, I just got here now. I want to help you. And again, as begrudging as she has been, when we see Haruhiko getting up the next day after all of these events have concluded, there is Minase. She found where he lived and wanted to thank him and apologize. And we see this flower blossoming, in a sense. And it warmed my heart. I really enjoyed it for those character aspects, And so it was another really good episode. The last few. I mean, as I say, I started this series off and I was really critical about Haruhiko. He didn't really seem to fit to me, and they needed to find an equilibrium, and I feel like now they've found it. And where they will go from here, will the next episode be about Karumi maybe? I don't know. Will there be something else in between, focusing back on her? Not exactly sure. I do have to give props to, one of my commenters who said in the last episode comment section that they figured this would be the focus of this episode, and they were spot on with that speculation, being that Minase would be the focus, and sort of how that would play out. That's why I say it was loosely predictable, but nonetheless really enjoyable to me, and I gotta give it props for that. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 5 of Myriad Colors Phantom World, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you found it to be a little predictable, you enjoyed it in spite of that, or, take it or leave it, love it or hate it, our POVs can certainly disagree. If you didn't enjoy it at all whatsoever, let me know why in the comments below. Otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.